Come on in.
Hi, my name is Emily Adams, and today I'll be playing Voldemort from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Part 1 or 2? Part 1 or 2?
Part 2.
Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. So cool.
Oh boy! Come! Thank you.
Not me, not Hermione.
You think I'm rude now? I never think. He's so touristy, but. Okay, so we were like, you know what we're gonna do tonight is let's go see a movie. Let's go see Ryan Gosling and Fall Guy.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Theater near-ish us. £10 tickets.
Do that.
We walked to the theater, 19-minute walk, because there's no tube station near that. And then we get there and we're like, hi, we'd like to see Fall Guy. And they're like, okay, £18.
Oh.
Those people are watching Bridgerton. Sorry, I looked in the window. It's good. Audrey gets her ticket. We walk into the theater and a woman stops us and she's like, oh, you have 2 different tickets to 2 different movies.
I went to the Challengers? Yes, Zendaya.
The woman lets us go into the theater.
Like,
It's great. We're sitting in the theater and I keep thinking, oh, well, we're like, see, our tickets are different movies.
Yeah.
So I look on mine and it says theater 2.
Mine says theater 1.
And I was like, we're in theater 1. Mm-hmm. We're in the wrong movie. Part 2, I had to figure out where we were going. It's down this really long path. We then get out of the theater. Mm-hmm. Also, we can't find where the theaters are. It's confusing.
It's very confusing.
It's bougie. We're a little lost. Sorry, I keep hearing things.
Make sure we don't die.
Yeah, so then we get out and she's like, oh, let me just switch your ticket. Mm-hmm. So she switches Audrey's ticket so we go into Fall Guy.
Yep.
And we're sitting down.
And then Fall Guy.
Fall Guy was
a lot.
It was entertaining.
It was like Barbie.
It was enjoyable. I'm glad I saw it.
Ryan Gosling was Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling played Ken.
Yeah.
I think that's who he is now.
He was stunt guy Ken. Stunt guy.
I heard it. Okay, so not sure if I got that, but there was definitely a man's voice when we were walking around, but there was no man.
We're okay. I think
we're good. Yeah, but it sounded like it was right behind us.
A
little scary. But yeah, so that's how our night's going.
It's funny. It was very funny.
It was.
But also, I felt like secondhand embarrassment. Like half the time, that's why I was laughing. And if we went on not the weekend, it would have been
literally £4.
Yeah.
But it's fine. We live, laugh, love.
Living.
We said frat bro.
I need ice cream.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Georgian era. So the Georgian era is named that because there was a line of kings all named George. Many of you may be familiar with George III.
You'll be back, soon you'll see.
That guy. For those of you that are Bridgerton fans, and I know that there's many of you out there, as am I, one of the Georges is in Queen Charlotte. So for this week, I'm going to be talking about 2 topics. One of them fits my theme of comedy very well. One of them is like right on the money. And the other one is more of sort of public interest, but I also just really, really like it. So I want to talk about it. And if you have a problem with that, it's not your vlog, so sucks to suck. So the first topic I'm going to be talking about is political cartoons. So for this week, I went to London's Cartoon Museum, which I didn't know was a thing until I Googled like political cartoons in London. And that came up. There's like one sign that says Cartoon Museum, and you're like, oh, okay. And you walk in and you go down all of these stairs, and at the bottom there's just a giant figure of Superman. And then you walk in and you go in this room that it details the history of cartoons, which was really cool. Like, I learned a lot about cartoons in general and sort of how they evolved and a little bit of the technology with it. So in the Georgian era, political cartoons become more popular due to rising literacy rates, freedom of expression that wasn't really tolerated before, and also commentary on politics becomes more accepted versus being like, that's treason, you're talking against the king. That's not really a thing anymore. Well, it's, more of a gray area, but it's becoming more openly accepted. And then also the technology was advancing. It said in the museum that they used to do carvings of the cartoons. So someone would draw it and then they would etch it onto a piece of metal, which is very expensive. And then they would print it using that piece of metal. But then again, that one piece of metal can, unless you smelt it, can only be used for that one drawing. So the technology advances and it becomes more accessible for more people to kind of develop their drawings. So that's where we see the rise of political cartoons. I have some examples. James Gilray and Richard Newton become sort of the most popular or very widely well-known political cartoonists. A couple of James Gilray's illustrations were on display there, so I have some examples of those, of him commenting on the political state of London and England at the time. Hopefully, if I do this correctly, are showing up right now. And then I have a couple of other political cartoons from artists that aren't Gilray and Newton. I'll show those now as well. And then I have this cartoon that shows Sherlock Holmes and Watson, which, is out of this time scope, but I thought it was fun. So there it is. Woohoo! That's my brief history on political cartoons. Freedom of expression becomes really important in this time, especially when it comes to commenting on the government. Otherwise, people could have been executed for that in the past, but they're not anymore. So that's very fun. I would like to preface that all of the information I am about to relay to you was given to me at 9 a.m. when I was 17 years old during the COVID pandemic in one of my AP English classes. I would like to talk about Mary Godwin, aka Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. As we know, Frankenstein has become a very popular story in modern day since it's now in public domain. There have been many adaptations of it. They've taken Mary Shelley's story and they've either adapted it or tried to stay true to it. Frankenstein's monster, as well as Dr. Frankenstein, have kind of taken on a life of their own since the original depiction of them in Mary Shelley's book. I don't know if you've read Frankenstein. I did. I read it for school. It's a wild story. And what my teacher did was, before we started reading it, she gave us a very long preface to Mary Shelley's life and what led her to creating the story of Frankenstein and his monster. I'm going to give you that information now. Mary Shelley was the daughter of Mary Wollstonecraft, the famous feminist. So Mary Wollstonecraft wrote The Vindication for the Rights of Women, a popular feminist, I don't want to say manifesto, but like literature at the time. Mary Godwin is born and her mother dies in childbirth. Mary Shelley has an older half-sister named Claire Claremont, and when she is 15 years old, she meets Percy Shelley, a poet. He's 21 years old. They start hanging out a lot, not courting officially, if you would say. Mary Shelley, she visits her mom's grave quite a lot. It's speculated that she felt an immense sort of guilt towards her mother's death, and with that, Mary Godwin loses her virginity to Percy Shelley on top of her mother's grave. Right from the beginning, Mary Shelley has sort of a twisted relationship with death, if you will. So Mary Shelley gets pregnant, gives birth to a girl. One night, she wakes up in the middle of the night, picks up her baby girl, puts her back in her crib, and goes back to bed. She then wakes up and the baby has passed. And it turns out that her baby was already dead when she picked her up in the middle of the night, and she did not notice. She was unaware her child had passed at that point. And this is in 1815. The next year, she Percy Shelley and her half-sister go and they stay with Lord Byron in his summer house, which is where she starts writing Frankenstein as a part of a writing competition they all do. Now, when examining the story through the lens of her experience with death and her relationship with death, it's speculated that she is Frankenstein's monster, that she sort of puts herself into that position. Frankenstein's monster kills Dr. Frankenstein in the end. And that is sort of seen as Mary Shelley putting her relationship with her mother on a page. And also, my teacher told us that the house that they lived in with Lord Byron and Shelley and Claire Claremont was an orgy house. Whether or not that's an accurate description, I don't know. But as a 17-year-old at 9 a.m., those words stick with you. So I was like, oh, thank you, Dr. Marks. Shout out Dr. Marks. I hope she's doing well. She really told it how it was. None of my other English teachers were ever like, this is what happened. They all sort of tiptoed around it. And she was like, no, Mary Shelley lost her virginity on her mom's grave. And we were like, okay, you've got our attention, proceed. To relate it back to my topic, which is why we're here, Frankenstein took on a kind of a life of its own. Clearly, it fascinated the public for it to have gotten as popular as it is today. And that concludes my history portion. Oh, no, it doesn't. You know what? Ross, hi. This is for you. I've gotten complaints that there's not enough moonwalking in the vlogs. So here's my attempt at moonwalking. That's it. Ross, you have also complained that there's not enough about Jack the Ripper. Do not worry. The Victorian era is where Jack the Ripper really shines. And I mean that not literally, because he is a murderer, but he will be talked about in next week's vlog. So stay tuned. For Mary Wollstonecraft's grave, mother of Mary Shelley. So we walked in and we were like, have to find this grave. Probably gonna be eroded, the whole thing. I found it. I don't know where they went, but I found it. Mary Shelley lost her virginity right there. We found it. We found it. Do you think Mary Shelley did some things right here? Right where we're standing?
I'm gonna guess right here, right?
So guys, we climbing Stonehenge? Or?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Glad we're on the same page. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Rex. I'm so glad someone found that funny. It's not bad. This is fine. This is perfect.
Damn, it's rock hard out here.
Wow. Those are some hard rocks. Where's the cafe at?
Where do rocks go to find dates? Stonehenge.
Why is that better than everything I've ever said on the vlog? Gritty, you did. I'm calling him Dwayne Johnson is wild because his full name to me is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Bury your mouth. Bury your mouth. So I showed up to Stonehenge in a crop top and my fluffy jacket. It's raining.
Okay, higher. Actually. Higher. 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 No, higher. Higher. Higher.
Guys, it's the original Stoners. Well, you didn't like that one? You didn't like that one, Tio? I thought that was good. SNL, hire me.
Hi, I'm Emily Adams.
Hi, should I walk into frame?
Yes. Walk in, yeah.
Walk. Yeah, like it's an audition.
You're good.
All right, you come on in. Hi. Thank you. I don't know if you can tell, but on the rock right there, it looks like there's a face. Right there, that one. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it to Bath.
Yay! We almost died though.
We did. Our bus was interesting. Well, one, we missed our turn, and then the bus stalled 3 times as he was trying to get us to turn around on the uphill, and then he turned us around, but then we were perpendicular in the road blocking traffic, and he could not get the bus to start for like literally 5 minutes.
And he was very calm about it.
Whacking on the steering wheel. Whacking it. He also like ran into a road sign.
As
Wow.
you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new segment of the vlog called Book Update. Audrey, take it away. What book are you reading?
Okay, so I'm currently reading, I'm taking it out,
Okay.
I'm on page 50.
And how do you feel about it?
I'm enraged.
Okay.
So I'm reading the first one. My book update is I'm on page like 30, and not really anything interesting is happening, but she is talking about boys really weird.
I'm reading a book called Love at First Night, and it is so extremely mid, but that's okay. I bought it for £5, so.
But it takes place at the Tower of London.
It does. That part is definitely a bonus.
Consider the household of the Baron Featherington. So now that we're here,
Accomplishment. Do you know what is an accomplishment? Attending university. If I were a man, I could do that, you know. Instead, I shall have to stand by and watch dear Mama appear proud, because some man should like to admire my sister's face and hair and fill her up with babies.
From the world of Jean Valjean. Ladies and gentlemen, spring water. Yeah. Drink Happy Hearties Yo Ho. Cheers. Happy Hearties Yo Ho. Ooh. That tastes like eggs.
I taste like warm tap water. That's what that is.
Health.
It's health benefits. Yeah. We're gonna live forever.
We're now immortals, actually.
We're gonna die tomorrow.
It's gift shop time. It's gift shop time? It's gift shop time.
Look at that edition of Pride and Prejudice.
It's beautiful. And he's Destiny is calling me. Wait, so this one or that? Which one's taller?
He's running. He is running. What happened?
So welcome to the Georgian era. Woohoo! I feel like I do that every time. Do I do that every time? Let's do something different. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.